Hello and welcome back to Paranormal NL Podcast, located in Newfoundland and Labrador, Canada. That's PNL Podcast for short. I'm your host and founder, Jen Noseworthy. Thank you for tuning in to UPRN, United Public Radio Network, UPRNTalkRadio.com, and that's over at 107.7 FM in Ireland and 105.3 FM on that Gulf. Watch and listen to PNL Podcast every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern with a YouTube live chat watch party with me, your host Jen, and a few BOG Team members. Now, for tonight's Secrets of Antarctica episode on UPRN Seg 93, I've got a special guest waiting backstage from Nevada and a co-host backstage from North Carolina. Now it's grab your favorite icy beverage, grab a few mystery munchies, and get ready for the show tonight. Paranormal NL Podcast is sponsored by the BOG Team. It's a boots-on-ground BOG team doing historical paranormal investigations in Newfoundland, Canada. Now, if you find yourself coming back to the show and you like the content, smash that subscribe button. Gratitude. It all helps, folks. Grab your PNL Podcast and BOG Team merch at TeePublic on our link tree, Paranormal NL Podcast. All BOG Team music heard in the intro and the exit is available for download and use on all social media and streaming music platforms. PNL Podcast believes in supporting international paranormal networking and highlighting global paranormal people, places, and things. Now, let's get on with the show. I actually like to give a shout out to who introduced me to tonight's guest, and that's Mr. Mark Eddy from Third Eye Live Podcast. Now, Mark Eddy works with Sir Bryan Bowden over there on Third Eye Live, and they're both PNL Podcast Alumni Network members from season 2, 3, and 4. So give their numerous PNL Podcast episodes a listen. You'll enjoy all of their work. Now, I'm going to bring on stage our co-host, Mr. Rob Shelsky. He's an author. Welcome back, Rob.
Good evening.
Good to have you.
Good to be here.
Listening around the world and PRN, you want to tell them a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I'm a field investigator for MUFON, or was for 3 years. I write a lot of books on UFOs, cryptids, anything to do with the paranormal, actually, including the Mandela effect, time travel. And I just enjoy anything eerie and otherworldly, including ghosts.
That's great to have you back, Rob. Now let's bring the man of the hour on stage here, Mr. Brad Olsen. Yay! Let me take you off mute. Brad, welcome to UPRN. For the folks listening around the world, you want to tell a little bit about yourself?
Hey, Jen, thanks for having me on the PNL podcast. I'm not sure I ever did a podcast in Newfoundland or Labrador yet, so
welcome.
For everything.
We're really glad to have you.
Down here in America, we call you the Great White North. So
yes.
Nice to connect to your audience up there, and I'm out here in Northwest Nevada, pretty close to where they do Burning Man.
Okay.
A ranch in Northwest Nevada, and I travel quite a bit to conferences. In fact, tomorrow morning I'm driving to Sedona, Arizona, and right after that, flying to Germany. I'll be in Germany a week from now talking about secrets of Antarctica and the German U-boats penetrating deep under the continent. We have the smoking gun evidence that they did that, so it'll be interesting to see how well I'm received with the German audience. But just
it should be interesting, yeah, because you got a lot of stuff about that in your book. You want to hold up your book?
Yep, here it is. Same one on your screen, and chock full of images,
all kinds of
maps,
stuff
and
in there.
A lot of other cool stuff, which we'll get into during the talk.
Right.
This is my 11th book. I did 3 in the esoteric series, and I also do a lot of interviews on that because that's all the good stuff. As Rob was saying, investigating into ghosts and UFOs and paranormal hotspots and esoteric traditions throughout history. That's all part of the big game plan here.
So, Rob, what got you into, Brad, interested in the Antarctica?
Well, first and foremost, I guess I should say I'm a traveler of all continents in the world. So I've been to all 7 continents, and that includes Antarctica about 7.5 years ago on a sailboat, which is a tough way to go across the Drake Passage.
That's cold. That's really cold. Yeah.
Well, it's not just cold, it's dangerous. It's a really bad sea.
It is.
So as far as I know, I'm the first and only researcher to self-finance a trip down there to go investigate some of these bigger questions we have. Kind of like a MUFON investigation, Rob. I went down there and talked to everybody I could at the several research station and bases we went to, as well as
now, Brad, on the map here, you were up on the finger? Shall I call it that?
Exactly. Yep.
Okay, perfect.
Right in that area in the northern tip of the Palmer Peninsula. A beautiful area in its stark wilderness because it's all frozen. It's 99% covered in ice.
Sounds like Newfoundland.
Yeah. It's a great white
great for a cocktail party.
That's the polar plateau there, and that's 2 miles thick ice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and those
you want to bring your grommets for that. Hey, I bet you had to wear a lot of gear, didn't you?
Well, surprisingly not, because we weren't climbing, but certainly warm weather gear. And then
did you get to travel on this thing?
No. That was the Antarctic expedition. No.
I can't even imagine getting stuck over a crevice that big. I mean,
but there are that big and even wider. But most of the goods are transported to the South Pole Station on those cat tracks.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would be afraid. If the thing broke down and you're out somewhere. I mean,
you better have a mechanic on board.
Yeah, I mean, your lifeline is real thin there, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
One bad blizzard, one breakdown, and you could. Can you survive that?
Frostbite, everything else.
Depends on what time of year you were there.
Yeah, so and what kind of gear you got, right? You know how to make a fire.
It's brutal in the winter, no doubt about it. But
Yeah.
I was there in the summer, Antarctic summer, which is January and February. And there were days where we could sunbathe on the deck of the boat, just in our bathing suits.
Wow.
Jumped in the ocean and did the polar plunge a couple times. But
you get all the seasons in one day, right?
Yeah.
Now, on
do
the cover,
do they have parka bathing suits too? I'm kidding.
bathing suits with the hood. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, on the cover of your book, you've got some UFOs there. And, when I think of the Antarctic, I always think of the pyramids people talk about.
Yeah, we got the pyramids on here too, on the cover, if you see in the distance there. But then those are the popular ones. And the pyramid is right there. We had to include that one.
Yeah.
Which is called the Great Pyramid of Antarctica. And it's in the Ellsworth Range. And you can zoom in on it on Google Earth and take a look for yourself. And I do like when people use this book as a resource and do their own research on it, because I do give the GPS coordinates on many of these locations.
Mm-hmm.
I want people to go there and you tell me what you think, because there are several locations with pyramids. This one is the most symmetrical and it's perfectly four-sided, but some people call them nunataks, which are just attractive mountains that poke through the ice.
Well, I mean, do you think they're pyramids, really pyramids? Because I'm looking at the picture right now, and I've seen pictures of it before quite often, actually. It looks very pyramidal, but the sides don't look the same size, and they look very rough. Could this not just be the result of glaciation causing this, like the Matterhorn and these other places? They all tend to get that horn.
And that would be what a nunatak is, just a mountain that was carved by nature, but coincidentally has a pyramidal shape. But yeah, I think you're right, Rob. The jury is certainly out whether it is made by humans or just a natural artifact.
But what do you think? Do you think it's a natural artifact, or do you think it's real?
I think it's worth investigating. If I were to ever go back down there, this is one of the places I'd go.
Because it's not the middle answer.
Don't they usually say there's like whole biospheres down there under the ice?
Yeah, there are.
Yeah.
Right? Well, all kinds of different organisms we never even heard of before and seen before.
But to answer your question, and I do want to answer, Rob.
Oh, sure.
I think that more it's leaning that it is, or the other one, there's two that are really impressive. Mm-hmm. One is in the Ellsworth Range that you just showed. The other is in the Shackleton Range. And my friend and one of the stars on Ancient Alien, David Hatcher Childress.
Oh, I love Childress. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's great. He says if this gigantic pyramid in Antarctica is an artificial structure, it would probably be the oldest pyramid on the planet. And in fact, it might be the master pyramid that all the other pyramids on planet Earth were designed to look like.
Wow.
So that's why it's a game changer. If it is built by intelligent hand, then obviously we're talking about ancient cultures that once existed before Antarctica became iced over.
But why is it such a taboo topic? It's almost like a DARPA type of military op topic or something.
Kind of like the same way aliens are taboo.
I guess.
It's a complete game changer.
Yeah.
We have to rewrite history as we know it.
What do you think about the disclosure, Brad? Do you think it's going to happen this year? Like, do you think they're going to do it? Or you think it's going to be like the movie that Spielberg is doing,
That disclosure. Well, apparently Trump has his disclosure speech already written that Eric Trump's wife said he's going to deliver on or around the 4th of July.
Okay. So it's going to be like a real Independence Day.
Yeah, that's not good. I mean, is there more of a coincidence there than just it being the 4th of July, like in the movie? But you said you had a smoking gun for the U-boats being down there?
Yeah, so this is when I'm going to give my presentation next week in Germany.
Yeah.
I'm going to show these maps and directions for the U-boat captains that came out in the form of after the Cold War. So first they got captured by the Soviets, who got to Berlin before anybody did. Then they were analyzed, but just sat in the KGB and the secret police headquarters until the fall of the Soviet Union. And I don't know if you know this, but if you went to Moscow in the mid 1990s with a suitcase full of hard currency, there were people that used to work at the KGB say, well, I want an alien autopsy video. Okay, yeah, we'll get it for you.
We'll go get it for you, yeah.
We want alien crashed video and crashed UFO videos. Yeah, they have that too. And a lot of this stuff has been released to the internet. You can find it there. Just like this stuff about Antarctica and these maps. But they're only now just reaching the Western world.
They're only now coming out, yeah.
To reprint many of them, including in German U-boat directions to a place they specifically call Agartha, under the ice in Antarctica, about 300 or 400 miles deep. And so I got this from this research assistant I worked with. His name is Frank de Kamer in Europe, and he reads and speaks in German. He plotted this out. This is where those U-boat maps go. Almost dead center in the continent, close to where the South Pole Station is, over 2 miles above in the ice. But there's a giant hole in the ice near there too, which is another way I think connects down to this inner ice realm. And this is what Admiral Byrd wrote about in his diary, is visiting this, quote, Buck Rogers City.
They recently found a U-boat also, I want to say it was St. Lawrence Straits near Labrador. And over in Newfoundland, we had a couple U-boats here shoot, torpedo, and sink some of our ships here during the World War II. Yeah. And we've got some of their stuff over in the museum on Bell Island. It's a rich part of our history when you mention U-boats, because we've had a lot of activity up in Labrador with stuff like that. Yeah. So makes you wonder, like, what were they doing so far up north, right?
And all over the place. Yeah. And in the Arctic, they had a base. In fact, their base is what the U.S. took over, called the Thule base.
I wonder, were they just using it for like refueling and stuff like that, or was it a full-on base?
Well, in the case of the one in Greenland, I think they were using it as a radar or spy station. But what do you need to be all the way up there for? Just like what do you need to be down in Antarctica for?
Yeah.
One of the great mysteries of what the Germans were doing in New Schwabenland. So hopefully I'll get some answers, because one of the speakers at this conference I'm going to be at, called the Ultimate UFO Conference in Kirchheim, Germany, one of the other speakers his name is Lohar Lotan, and he is the Inner Earth Emissary. So I look forward to speaking to him and seeing what he knows about these realms under the ice. And he's German too.
Okay, so you should know a lot about stuff like that, right?
Yeah, and we're not even talking about like inside the crust of the Earth. Inner Earth could be under the ice in Antarctica, or these deep underground military bases that are all over the place too.
Could be the entrance up there. Be a great place to hide something, wouldn't it?
The best place to hide something.
Because nobody wants to go up in the ice. Right.
I can tell you from my trip there, we hardly ever saw anyone else. I mean, it is very much a barren.
We've got a lot of icebergs coming down this year, and there's all kinds of weird stuff coming off of them. One of them has this ginormous boulder. Another one has this mysterious, disgusting carcass with the bones hanging out of it. It's like, ew, and people are using this to go, let's add some of the burgy bits to our drink. I'm like, no, let's not. I don't want any whale pee in my drink. But they're also building a huge, plumping up, shall we say, the big base up in Labrador with a lot of things for the Antarctic here in Canada. So that's a big deal here, because we haven't had much like that on the go, but now they're going to beef it up. And I'm thinking, I guess, use it as a waypoint for gassing up. Gassing up all the UFOs.
There you go. But if you look at even some of the trade routes, if they could open up the Arctic for trade, including Canada and Alaska, but mostly Russia and the Scandinavian countries, you cut your travel time by weeks or months.
Mm-hmm.
If you can take your goods, say around the Soviet far eastern peninsula there, Kamchatka, to get it on a train, or go down to China. Think about China, all the goods that could come directly to Northern Europe.
Well, we always know something is ramping up and going on when there's a lot of international planes landing here, gassing up. We're like, okay, something's going on. Because they like to use our place as a way station. But tell us some more stuff about your book. What's some of the main takeaways that you want to tell people about?
Okay, well, I guess I could just show you the chapters, and each one of those is the main takeaway, because I also get into the maps, maps of the ancient sea kings. Here's a table of contents.
The Piri Reis map?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, the best. The Nazis in Antarctica, Admiral Richard E. Byrd, who went down there 5 times. Operation High Jump, his 4th trip, which ended 2 months into the 6-month expedition. Hollow Earth entrance at the South Pole, briefly touched on that. Antarctica ETs and the evidence for bases down there, as well as the black goo.
Let's talk about that. Wasn't that an episode on the X-Files that they talked about the black goo? Remember that?
A whole bunch of movies too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just did a whole show on it. The last interview I did a couple hours ago, all she wanted to talk about was the black goo.
Isn't that what the movie, what's the name of that thing that's got a really big teeth and everything, and it's black? And there's oh gosh, I'll think about it now tonight when I don't need to know about it. But yeah, there's been a lot of movies done on that stuff, hasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think about it all? I mean, do you think there are aliens definitely down there? And if they are, why are they there? I keep hearing about possibly the bases, Admiral Byrd, and all this stuff. Not from me, but from everybody, And
sure,
it's fairly convincing. I don't see a smoking gun, but I would love to.
Well, I mean, it makes sense for biologicals to be down there, something that's ancient that hasn't been discovered for so long, that would affect us. If we were,
I don't know. I mean, it's really an inhospitable place to have a base. I mean, could they have picked, I don't know, outer Mongolia somewhere?
Well, like you said, if they don't want to be discovered, nobody wants to go to the Antarctic, right? So that's a perfect place.
Yeah. Well, to answer your question, Rob, let's look at some of the images on Google Earth from Antarctica. Some of these they let us see. Others, there are locations that I've seen are just whited out.
Yeah.
But then there are these domes where they're so big aircraft could fly into them. That's some kind of underground base.
That makes me think about Skinwalker Ranch with the dome aspect of it. You know how they have this all the way around a certain part of the ranch, there's a dome.
Yeah.
What's that?
This was being excavated in 2013, happens to be in Newfoundland, and it's a German base called Konin. You can go on the Wayback Machine here to those GPS coordinates. This is what it looks like now. It's just kind of covered up. I kind of imagine it as being a circus tent, or these are the poles kind of protruding through. But this one's really, if we're talking smoking gun for ETs down there, this is some kind of massive machine. And even the remote viewers from Farsight Institute looked at it and said it's some kind of craft for very tall beings.
Make you wonder.
A German seasonal base now. And as I said, in 2013, they're digging in there. You can see an airstrip, snowmobile tracks, and they're digging the thing out and getting into it. So that's another place.
And what do you think this is all about? I mean, why do you think they're doing this?
Well, because there are craft down there. And that's why the NSA is stationed in Antarctica. They have a building at the McMurdo base, which is the largest U.S.-run base in Antarctica. And it's the biggest secret everybody knows about is there's a NSA.
Lots of alphabet soup people there. We got to be careful. We don't want to get, disappeared or unalived like a bunch of other people.
But, no such agency. They didn't even admit they existed. But they're up at the South Pole, too, because they're protecting the core secret. And that is the massive hole in the ice. So I interviewed Bryan S., who originally came out with Linda Moulton Howe. And I got to talk to him for over an hour last year when I was working on this book. He was an eyewitness to the hole in the ice. And he says it's miles across. You could easily fly a plane into it. And when I pined down a little closer, trying to get him to describe more precisely what he saw, he said that there were cat tracks, like you just showed earlier.
Like on the X-File movie, Brad. I keep bringing that up, right? You know that part of the movie where this big ship comes out of the ice, right? And there was a hole there because it was warm. It was venting, right?
They show us this stuff in movies and TV shows for sure.
Well, yeah, they do. But I mean, that doesn't mean it's real.
No, because it's portrayed as fiction, right?
Well, lots of things are portrayed as fiction that are fiction. I mean, I think there is something going on at Antarctica. I'm not arguing that one.
So this is Bryan S.'s map. And you can see the hole on the ice just off the South Pole. His map, not mine. His eyewitness account, not mine. I mean, if we're doing a MUFON investigation, you'd want to talk to this guy. And what he described to me is not only is it big enough to fly a plane into it, but there's a road that corkscrews down into it.
Wow.
That's why you have the NSA stationed at the South Pole and their larger base of operation at McMurdo.
More alphabet soup. Watch out.
So when he also said that he was the one who was part of they picked up some scientists, a recovery of scientists that went missing for a week. Now, we were talking about bad weather down there. How do you survive in Antarctica? Not at your camp, not with your gear, not with your food, just the clothes you're wearing for a week. And then they come back and Bryan S. goes and picks them up. They were white-faced like they'd seen a ghost. They would not talk to anybody. They took them back to McMurdo. They get interrogated and quarantined by the NSA, who then gets them out of there. And that's the end of that. So there's stuff going on down there. They're covering stuff up, and it's the big mystery about what it is that's being covered up. And
seems like they're doing a lot of tunneling under the ground, Brad. Like there's a lot of earthquakes and stuff like that. Do you think that they're doing a lot of like underground based kind of stuff, or do you think it's just fracking?
No, there are bases under there too.
Yeah.
And that's what the Nazi U-boats were going to. They were building their bases under the ice.
Kind of like the Nautilus, right?
Yeah. There is stuff on the surface, but it's kind of like wreckage or some of these old defunct UFOs. But I think the real action is when you get 2 miles under the Antarctic ice. And I should also preface that by saying that Antarctica is the most volcanically active continent. So there's 14 known active volcanoes in Antarctica and 93 known geothermal vents, which would have the propensity to open up large under ice domes. And there are also lakes that never freeze. There are rivers that flow through there. And as you said earlier, Jen, there are whole ecosystems that are
yeah.
So it's truly the land of mystery. It's a location you could live if you could grow your food hydroponically.
Yeah.
But why not? And you're totally out of view from radar, drones, satellites, and you could operate down there relatively unhindered.
Yeah, what do you mean, no satellites? I was pretty sure we had polar orbiting satellites.
There are. They only go over a couple hours each day, and we were able to get on the internet for a short period of time at one base we went to. There's also the Black Knight satellite, which does that orbit from pole to pole, a very unusual orbit of Earth. But if you think about it, at one point or another, doing that rotation over the poles, at one time or another, you will see any portion of the planet Earth.
Yeah.
Well, then,
other than just latitude at one latitude, you'd see anything. After
okay, so say there is an ET base in Antarctica, and there quite possibly could be. In fact, I kind of think there might be. But we also apparently seem to have some kind of base in the channel between the Channel Islands and the mainland in California.
Yeah,
there seems to be something going on there quite a bit, and there seem to be volcanoes UFOs that do come out of volcanoes, that come out of lakes like Lake Baikal in Russia and other places. So how does
Guadalupe Island off of Mexico in the Pacific?
Mm-hmm.
That one's just come out recently with a lot of people bringing forth information. So you're right. Underwater, under the ice, almost the same thing, but these craft obviously can transfer through water without a problem and move very
quickly without causing a shock wave, because they can seem to go really fast underwater, but don't create that bow front wave. That I don't know how they do that unless they're popping in and out of our reality every instant, like an LED light. LED lights aren't solid lights; they're actually blinking at a very high
gravity
speed.
Propulsion kind of thing. Rob, are your cats having a party in the background?
Are they?
Someone's having a party.
I was listening to see if it was my cat having a party, because sometimes they do that. So, when I think about the Antarctic, I think, okay, this place is like an air conditioner for the Earth, and we can't screw it up, right? So if there's too much heat down there, we could have a massive meltdown, shall we say. So
when I was getting ready to go down there about 8 years ago, I'm poring over maps, as many as I could find, just giving me a lay of the land and trying to figure out where I'm going and what I might be able to see down there. But one of the maps I came across, which I reprint in the book here, I'm trying to flip to its page, it shows areas of Antarctica that are melting. And I saw that on the Palmer Peninsula where I went to. But conversely, there are also areas that are cooling down where there's an accumulation of ice.
Yeah, I read that. Yeah.
But that's a good thing, though.
And so that's why you're not seeing the sea levels going over the top.
Well, that's a good thing.
If Antarctica were ever to slide off, say Eastern Antarctica, then it would be having a full glass of water and putting a bunch of ice cubes in it. Then it would explode with a huge amount of excess water on our shorelines.
Well, I mentioned that because there's an awful lot of excessive icebergs this season floating around out there. So there's a lot of icebergs cracking off and floating around this year. So I wonder, is it getting warmer? But you're saying it's being replaced, so that's a good thing.
You were talking about the. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, it's just, you're right. It's an indication on the climate. It ebbs and flows. We went through the Younger Dryas, which was this warming period, and there have been ice ages on Earth. So there are comings and goings. And in fact, this year was colder than average, whereas previous years were warmer than average. So It seems to be coming back to that inflection point.
Ebbs and flows. And you've done a lot of research on this. How long have you been researching this?
About 10 years.
Wow. Yeah, you put a lot of work into it.
Yeah, it's a fascination of mine and a place I went to visit. And
now you've also
know more about it. It really, I think that disclosure, a meaningful disclosure, could very well come out of Antarctica. So on the back of the book, I say all roads lead to Antarctica.
Right.
Of course, no roads lead to Antarctica. But what I mean is there could be disclosure-related items that we've been discussing on the show that would completely rewrite history.
It would.
Is like the pyramids and antediluvian civilization, to any of the other craft ship, to a civilization called Agartha under the ice near the South Pole. I mean, take your pick. Any one of these would just be mind-blowing information to the human race that would inexorably change the history as we know it.
It would. And you've done a lot of research on other places.
Yeah.
Did you want to talk about some of those?
Yep.
Yeah, that's one of your books there.
Antox Meadows in Newfoundland, place I want to go, the Viking colony up there.
Yeah, I think you would really like that. It's a very interesting place. Very old settlement. And so here's some other places that you've been. Is there any one other place in particular that sticks out in your mind that there would be aliens, shall we say? Do you think that other pyramids have them or are related to them?
Well, and the pyramids, they did those scans last year, Filippo Bondi and his team. And the results are that right there under the Giza Plateau, it's a whole city down there. It's many layers, it's many passageways, it's many large cavities. And that too is what I'm saying. This is going to completely rewrite history. That's why Zahi Hawass and the Egyptologists are so anti these scans. But you see, they were done from a satellite. They didn't need to go.
Why they don't want us to know, right? Yeah, they really don't want a lot of people over there.
Well, we don't know for a fact that there is anything below the pyramids. They did that recent scan using the odd particle array thing that they use, and it seems to show that. But until we actually dig down there and verify it, it's just a concept.
Yeah. I don't know. Some of those scans are pretty interesting.
Oh, I think they're pretty impressive. Yeah, but they could just be natural anomalies causing it.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah. That's like when you go looking for boats on the bottom of the ocean and it looks so much like a boat and you get there and no, it's not the right boat you're looking for.
And look at the Millennium Falcon in the what's the sea? The Black Sea or what sea is that over in Asia that Istanbul is the Straits?
Oh, you're talking about the Baltic Sea anomaly.
No, the Baltic Sea is the one up north, isn't it?
Yeah, but there's like a Millennium Falcon kind of craft that is at the bottom of it.
Is that in the Baltic? I thought it was in the. I forget, but I mean that turned out to be natural. But it certainly looks like the Millennium Falcon when you look at the sonar of it. But when you go there, you find out it's rock. And
it is rock. Yeah, it could also be natural. So I'll just tell you what Elena Denon and I had this conversation about it. And she says it is rock. It is turned to rock. But she said, did you know that most advanced UFOs are organic in nature?
Oh.
Even if you touch them, it's like a sponge. It will respond to you. And even to fly them, you have to, that's where the headbands and the Montauk chair came from, was working with the pilot's mental projection is how they fly these planes. That's why they never found big looking boards or that they put their hands on a
kind of like the biological, the DNA.
There's a biological connection. So
kind of like when that first movie,
the Baltic Sea anomaly, is that it was originally an organic piece of material. Think petrified wood, which was originally wood, but then after pressure and time and age, turns to stone. That's why it turns out to be a stone formation, but incredibly symmetrical. And remember, Mother Nature doesn't create in this perfect kind of symmetry. Occasionally you'll get a 90-degree angle or a pyramid like a nun attack. But oftentimes when you see this really astonishing symmetry, that is a sign that it was built by intelligent hand.
True.
Well, all this about the organic ships and the fossilization, and they had mental powers to control their ships, and the ships are organic. Where is the proof of any of that?
Yeah, you keep saying that, Rob, but I'll just say the proof is maybe in the way that it was formed or created down there. I'd love to see
some of the AI that we have now is kind of predicting what you're going to do in the future, right? It predicts your moves, and I think about that movie. Remember that one Firefox that came out a long time ago?
The jet.
And it was kind of reading his mind.
Clint Eastwood started that.
Clint Eastwood. That was that kind of technology. You never know. Maybe we do have the tech because they say the tech that we have now, that we know about, they already had it like 50 odd years ago or something.
Well, yeah, but
reverse engineering.
I mean, until you have some evidence for some of this, whether it's
to show
organic. Well, it's just a conspiracy theory until you can find a smoking gun, as Brad said earlier. That he had a smoking gun on the Antarctica, which is great. I'm not discounting that these things might be real. Absolutely not. I tend to lean to the idea that they do.
Look at the symmetry here.
Oh yeah.
That's not an ice formation. It's very much some kind of large mechanical device. And the fact that they're digging it out and going through it.
How do you know it's a mechanical device?
Well,
I don't see any machinery. All I see is ice and snow.
Do you? I'm seeing some kind of grill formation.
I think it's probably the images. We've got a little small shot of you.
It's kind of like, the Giza. They say that was used for some kind of power generation, right? Because of the evidence that was there. There used to be water around it. They talk about mercury somehow being involved with it.
Yeah. Well, right. Yeah, but they found traces, and I'm not sure that you can.
It'd be nice to be able to time travel back and see it all.
Yes, it would.
But how far would you need to go back? That's the thing.
All the way. Might as well start at the beginning.
Let's start time travel, and then we'll get to the bottom of it.
Now, I think, that time travel is a distinct possibility, too. So I don't discount this stuff, but I would like to be able to kick the tires of it a little bit, if you know what I mean.
Well, do you think that it's not alien, that it's us, that, we knew there was going to be a flood and we just went somewhere else?
What do you think, Brad?
In the ice?
Yeah, the ice.
Just like we're working on now to go into the moon, well, maybe we went under the ice.
Well, the ice is kind of like a Venus flytrap. If you crash into it, it sucks you up. And then many years later, or centuries, or even millennia later,
spit you out.
Have these. So here's the thing, Rob. Why would they be excavating if it was just a ice formation? I mean, they're all over this thing and pulling it out.
Oh, well, I'll be honest with you. I don't think it's just an ice formation. It could be. It could be a rock formation, or it could be something from World War II that the Germans left behind, or something like that. Or, there's people have been going to the Antarctic now since the late 1800s?
1821, it was discovered.
Yeah, but I don't think we actually went there.
Are very little explored.
Yeah. So, I'm playing the devil's advocate because I've written enough books saying that this stuff might be true. But I always end my books by saying, well, here's the information, and I leave it to the reader to decide if they think
it's into it yourself. I agree.
Totally.
Brad, do you want to talk about this one, the Future Esoteric?
Yeah, so this is one of the 3 books in my esoteric series. This one taking a forward-looking view into utopia-like scenarios where we could perhaps put an end to money and become more tap into our superhuman abilities. But it also gets into the UFO and paranormal ET question, and also the secret state that has kept it all covered up. And why this is such a big secret to the military industrial complex. Look, if they're backward engineering UFOs, of course it's going to be top secret, because they want to use this and try to find a military way to utilize it. And the Germans were doing that too with the Honeyboo craft. They were trying to put laser cannons on the bottom, and there's actually some photos of them doing it. So Future Esoteric is mostly UFO-related material, and of course the Germans and their rapid advancements are also covered in this book.
Do you think that we're going to build a base on the dark side of the moon?
Were they gonna, or did they already?
That's the thing.
Or did somebody else?
Right?
Else and they just built.
Do you think it's already there and they just didn't show us the pictures? They just showed us some other AI stuff.
Yeah, I think so. Supposedly they were the first to get to the moon using one of these craft, the Honeyboo 1, which in this one you can see they did mount a gun on it. These are some images that came out after World War II. And I reproduced quite a few of these different type of photos of them in flight and the blueprints.
Do you think the Nazis actually made it to the moon?
Yeah.
Do you?
Well, they're the ones who had the tech. Didn't we have to steal that guy?
Decades before Americans did, probably in the 1940s. They didn't have transistors. They didn't have microchips. They didn't even have jet engines, and yet somehow they made it to the moon and back. I've watched a few movies. They did have jet engines with the V1 and the V2. They developed them.
Well, those were rocket engines, yes.
Yeah, they put them
and they developed them at the very end of World War II. But why bother if you had anti-gravity ships that could go all the way to the moon?
They didn't want the Allies to get their hands on it. That's why they didn't make a debut in World War II.
Well, what about Vimanas? I mean, that's totally ancient. You talked about blueprints. They even have blueprints on how to build a Vimana.
And it included mercury. And they were very specific in the design of this.
Yeah. And don't forget, the Germans were doing excavations around the world, especially in Tibet in the 1930s.
Oh, really?
Oh, big time. And they were
but that was a supernatural. That was for new supernatural things. They were looking for things that would prove that the Aryan race was superior and its mythology was real. So they were looking for the sword that was, stabbed into Christ, and they were looking for the Holy Grail. I mean, Indiana Jones stuff, but it was based on fact.
But they were looking for some paranormal stuff too, though, weren't they, Brian?
That's all paranormal.
Hey, let's say if someone tipped them off where they might find a Vimana, I think they'd be all over it.
Oh, totally, yeah, because they'd want to learn how to fly, something like that.
They had a UFO crash in the Black Forest in 1933. That went over to their engineers and scientists. And then the bigger one was in the Lombardy region of Italy. And Mussolini turned that over to the German engineers. That was in the late 1930s. That one was nearly intact. So they had a nearly intact UFO to work from.
Wow.
You don't think they're going to dig into this stuff? They want to find out exactly how these things fly. And Germans are very good.
I mean, if they actually had those things, why didn't they win World War II? If they were so advanced.
Say again?
If they had all these things, why didn't they win World War II?
Too little, too late, unfortunately, for them.
We came back with our time travel and fixed.
The Allies were very scared of the German wonder weapons at the end of the war. Very scared. And it's been said that if Hitler had 6 more months, they would have had the nuclear bomb. And they were already doing test runs to New York City, drop the payload, and even fly back. They had long-distance planes that could do that. And
I think there is a different timeline with it, Brad, that it actually happened.
If you want to get into timelines, I think we might need another show for that. Their engineers came over in Project Paperclip to work on our Manhattan project with the nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
So they were so advanced, Rob.
I disagree, because they were experimenting with heavy water, and they had up in Norway that they did. There's even a movie based on it, The Heroes of Telemark. But they never got beyond the heavy water stage. They never were actually developing. I mean, they were doing the theoretical work for the atomic bomb. The Japanese thought they could, and the Japanese gave it up. And they literally said, their admiralty said, there's no point in continuing this because it would take years and a huge economy, blah, blah, blah. And Germany had lost a lot of its scientists prior to World War II. Einstein left, and a lot of the other Jewish scientists left because they were being persecuted. So I don't see any evidence other than that they were trying to get their theory and stuff going on this, but I don't see that they were very close to finishing.
I don't know. I think something weird happened because with the Mandela effect, so many different things that people remember used to be or not. And
True.
It gets so confusing, doesn't it? Something must have happened. What you got there?
You can discount the Vril women and what they were working on in just after World War I. These women with long hair who were supposedly telepathic and were starting to produce visual representations, putting pen to paper, and they were actually able to create diagrams and blueprints that Victor Schauenberger, the great anti-gravity scientists in Germany. He looked at him. He says, "This is actionable intelligence. We can work with this stuff."
Did he disappear?
Many different ways. One of them needed to succeed.
Yeah, I just wondered. I heard something about one of them disappearing after they invented anti-gravity. I was wondering if that was the same.
Yeah, that's the paperclip one that you were talking about. German scientists, right?
Yeah, we got Wernher von Braun and Hermann Oberth, who came and started NASA. At Hermann Oberth's retirement party, somebody said, "How did the Germans get so advanced so quickly?" And he said, "We can't take all the credit ourselves. We had help with our friends from above." Just admitting
that would make sense.
Alien technology. And not only the crash discs that they were able to backward engineer, but possibly even connections working with ETs, perhaps live. So the start of my chapter about Nazis in Antarctica, I start with that Hermann Oberth quote. It's just so amazing. And he said,
"You want to read it?
Take credit for advancement in certain scientific fields alone. We have been helped. We have been helped by the people of other worlds." Now, that's not saying working with alien technology. I don't know what is. And it was.
But where's the proof of that? Where's his proof? I can say anything, but where's the proof?
Okay.
Facts or evidence, anything.
Yeah. Hermann Oberth was working on these backward engineered projects, not only in Nazi Germany, but he came here and was helping Wernher von Braun with the rocket program.
Which were basically V2s at the time.
Yeah, but they made advancements. But I think they were working with anti-gravitics as well. And our government has that. That's what the triangle craft, the TR-3Bs, is basically anti-gravity.
Yes, and that's quite possible.
But it's still covered up, Rob. You see, this is where your evidence is. They're in these black projects and black holes.
But it's been 70 years. Doesn't some of it come out?
It's all covered up by the alphabet soup. You know, people have been seeing UFOs for years, but I think a lot of it is us doing a lot of reverse engineering, right? Because we didn't even hear about a lot of these stealth stuff until very much later, right?
We don't see UFOs anymore. They're UAPs now.
Right now, they're little balls that's going around because the technology is advanced. I still think that's us, and we did some kind of reverse engineering. But it's also interesting to talk about, Brad, and I really appreciate you coming on the show today and talking about all of your work. I really appreciate it.
Well, thanks, guys. My pleasure. It's nice talking to you both.
Everybody, where they can find your books and your work?
Yeah, cccpublishing.com. And we can still send copies to Canada, but they have jacked the shipping rate. So in Canada, you can find the books in bookstores. We're distributed up there. But I can send some to Canada, but not Europe or the rest of the world anymore. With these stupid tariffs, it quadrupled the price to send goods overseas.
But people can buy them on ebook or things like that. Or they
ebooks are the best way. And you get all the CCC publishing books are available through ebooks as well.
Okay, perfect. And Rob, do you want to give a shout out to your stuff?
Sure. I've written 83 books, I think it is. And they are on Amazon Kindle, or you can get them through Simon & Schuster, or you can get them through Commuted Press, or you can just Google them online. They'll come up. Just Google my name.
So everybody, make sure y'all follow Brad Olsen and Rob Shelsky. And you're listening in again on UPRN, United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM in New Orleans and 105.3 FM out on that Gulf. We're going to leave you now with a little bit of BOG Team music. How about a little bit of 80s metal?